if we're going to keep them, they need to feel appreciated. So what are the top 3 ways principals can show faculty that they are appreciated?
This episode of the Christian Principles Podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation. And as always, the thoughts and opinions expressed within this episode are those of your hosts, not necessarily of the Herzog Foundation. Welcome to the Christian Principles Podcast. I'm Matt George.
And I'm Mark Zockel, and today I'm excited because we get to talk in the morning. Rare are the times we actually get to speak in the morning. Usually I'm not crawling up to our chairs, but we are making our way to our desks after the children have gone to bed. And we perhaps have had that long day. But today, no, we are bright. We are shunning.
We're shunning.
Shunning.
We're shunning the rest of the world so that we can do this morning podcast.
Well, the snow made us do that for sure. But no, we are bright. We are sunny. We are shining. And as it said on Nemo, the tank is clean. Sun is shining, the tank is clean, and the tank is clean. But we're going to go over with you this morning the top 3 ways in which principals can show faculty that they are appreciated. We had multiple iterations of this episode. We had top 10 ways. Then we knew if we do that, we're going to fly through them, and they won't be very helpful, or at least perhaps we'll be in the minutia. And then we said, let's make it 4, then 5, then 4, and we went up with 3, and we did back out and move from put a candy in their box or order these cards off of these websites and then pass them out to the teachers. And we said, no, this is to principals. How can we show faculty that they're appreciated? And so Matt prepared for this. And Matt, well done. Way to be ready. Way to be ready for this. I'm excited to hear from you. I am. We're going to take a moment now and hear from one of our partners, but we're going to save that second partner for the end of this episode because we have a tremendous way in evidencing to you how you can show those faculty members that they're appreciated. But first, let's hear from GradeLink Student Information Systems.
If your teachers love using Google Classroom, they'll love how easily GradeLink integrates with it. With just one click, all their data syncs over, saving them time and hassle. Check out cpp.gradelink.com to see how it all works together. All right, Mark, let's get into this. We boiled it down, but I know us, and I know this episode is going to fly by before we've even got to the third thing. So 3 ways in which we can show faculty they're appreciated. Now, we say 3 ways, but really it's just 3 categories.
Yeah.
There's multiple ways.
Oh, yeah. We should be showing them appreciation. We talk about the things we want to do day by day in our timeline. Well, it needs to be on our timeline. It needs to be a part of your day that you are writing into your schedule time to show at least one faculty member that they're appreciated if you plan on keeping them around for any length of time. So we don't do this in the self-serving way, but help yourself out. You help you be a success in this way. So first up, your personal actions, Matt. We're gonna go over the parts of the body here. We're gonna say with our mouth, with our hands, and with our feet. So we're taking this from our vantage point as principals. How with your mouth, Matt? How very specifically with your mouth would you, as a faculty member turned administrator, and now as an administrator, as a Christian school principal, how would you say you need to show your teacher's appreciation as their leader?
Well, I feel like the obvious thing is just go up and say, I appreciate you.
But when's the last time you did that? And when's the last time we did that? And that's just parking on the easy. Have we done that?
It's good. It's necessary. But if it's, I know me and I know my teachers, and I know if I go up and I say, appreciate you, I unfortunately have that kind of personality that they're like, okay, what do you want? So I would, definitely a good thing to do, but let's still keep it simple and just say thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, not necessarily I appreciate you, you serve me well, and I'm a better person because of you, but thank you, and be specific about what you're thankful for them, for. What are they doing that you truly do appreciate? But even just a simple stopping in and thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely. And there's so much to be thankful for concerning your faculty. First of all, they're there.
Yeah.
I don't wanna teach pre-K. I don't wanna go into 3rd grade and teach 3rd grade. You are here. You've shown up today. Now, I know some of this can be read into the mindset of celebrating mediocrity or celebrating what they're contracted for. I get that. So, I'm gonna take that off the table right now. It's gone. We're not talking about that for the rest of the day.
Take it
We're saying, apart from this, without celebrating mediocrity, we're saying be sincere in everything we're going to talk about in 1, 2, and 3 as we get through 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But there are things day by day that we should remember as teachers that we do want to be thanked for. A classroom that hasn't had major behavior issues, a classroom that spends time in prepared service outside of themselves, a classroom that has an effect on the entire school in a positive way. They're in a positive way, yeah. Have you said thank you for those things recently? Have
Yeah.
you shown have you taken the time to, I mean, could you right now sit down and write out a very specific thank you to each one of your faculty members, assuming, you if you have 60 faculty members, this gets very difficult. The time on task would take you a day, which maybe that's a good, maybe you wouldn't have a better day spent than if you
Right.
said no to everything else and you made a point that you're going to take a little script around and say, hey, today I thank you, Mrs. Jones, for, and then you say it. But it took thought, for your time spent last week at the the bake sale, and not only how you did a lot of baking yourself, but also how you organized this to be better than it was last year. I don't know, whatever it happens to be, but have you purposefully said thank you? This would cross over into hands, into the writing of a thank you, but in the same way, have we shown our very pointed appreciation? I don't think there's a better place to start,
Mhm.
than with this. Maybe we should go to prayer as well. It's not really something that we would show their appreciation. I'm just trying to, like, is there a better place to start? Maybe prayer is a better place to start with this, but
But it's also good. I mean,
sure.
I guess in some ways we need to pray for them, but for them to feel appreciated, they need to hear us pray for them, and we
Yes.
should take time to
Yes.
do that too.
Mm. And we
So I
could do it
think
with a
that's good.
loudspeaker. You could do that in front of their class. Walk into the classroom and say, "Hey, we're gonna pray for your teacher today because,"
Mhm.
and maybe it won't reveal that they have a struggle going on, but maybe the school does know there's a struggle going on. Have your students seen you pray for your teacher in front of them? That's interesting. Is that a common place of your Christian school that your students see you pray, you come in and pray for your teacher? Um, I've been known to walk through the hallways and open a door, and the students, then, "Wait, what's here for?" And then say, "I just wanna know what it's like having the greatest teacher in the world." And then, of course, there's raucous whatever, there's, or you told Mrs. Smith that you love her today or something like that. So, there is a personal, we go to my mouth. Those are ways that I have in the past tried to show faculty they're appreciated, by causing a stir in their classroom that they probably did not appreciate after the first little bit of it anyway.
Well, I have one more thing to think of when it comes to mouth. To say thank you is definitely a I think a place to start. But asking the question, how can I support you? How can I
Uh,
better uh, help you out? What do you need help with? That maybe that's a simple way to show them that not only are they appreciated, but you're there for them.
write
How
that
can
one
how
down.
can I support you?
That's beautiful 'cause I'll give one more on that same line. A teacher to feel appreciated from my mouth. should also feel as though he or she is a part of the team and a trusted, valued part of the team. So, yes, how can I support you so that they know we want to be there? Which, by the way, we should put our ears down to, because then we should shut up and listen and
Yeah.
not offer the 15 ways in which, "Well, I can't really support you that way. Like, I really can't give you more money." No, just shut up and listen and take it. And just at that point, in the husband wife relationship, it's often the stereotypical um, issue where the wife comes with the husband and says a bunch of things, and we're trying to perhaps fix it when we should just be quiet and be a good
Exactly.
listener. And maybe, have you been a good listener for your faculty recently? Have you showed them appreciation by being a good listener? But another question to ask would be, what are we doing? And not just formally at the end of the year, but do it personally with them. What am I doing? What are we doing? What am I doing wrong that can be fixed? Or what do you think needs fixing right now? What would make us, maybe a good
Mm,
catch-all question, what would make us stronger in
yeah.
your eyes right now? What would make our school stronger? Or maybe it's just their suite of teachers in that realm. Maybe it's the hallway. Maybe it's the environment, the like, I say environment, I mean the actual physical atmosphere around them, with the classroom, all those sorts of things.
Hmm.
Pick one and ask them. But am I trusting them? Am I showing them their value by trusting them to hear me ask those things, say those things? And I I would feel appreciated if someone
I
in
think
leadership
so.
came and asked my opinion on those things. If that leader could be trusted to actually, and I'm not saying follow through in that moment, but actually engage, listen, write it down. Maybe with my hands, the first thing to again, catapult would be to actually write down what it is that they say, and they can see you write down what it is
Yeah.
that they say to answer those questions. So actually, yeah, document their their opinions.
Mm,
I think suggestions been is very good.
yeah.
Okay, I like where we started with mouth. That's good. Tell us what we missed. But Matt, anything for ears or hands? Not that your ears could do much more than listen to those questions' answers, but
Well, I mean, you have to give the time to listen. You have to create the opportunities to listen. But ultimately, I do think that is the ultimate. You've got to listen. You've got to hear them, and then the effect of that, I think, is going to show up in hands and feet. That if I truly did listen, then it's going to be seen that I was listening.
so maybe what you could write down is hear and listen, or listen and hear, in so much that we might, there could be value in it, that sound wave actually meeting our ear. Maybe they appreciate that. At the same
Hmm.
time, if we're actually hearing them, or what would it be? Are we actually listening to them? Which one would be the
I
simpler?
hear you. I hear you means that the sound waves are going into my little ear canal, and I know you're making noise. However,
Yes.
listening means I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to do something about it,
So we'd reverse it. So I hear you,
and
and
I
I
listen.
listen to you. Very good.
Hear and listen.
I like that. That's awesome. Okay, but then we go to our hands. So we have a nice bridge here. Document their suggestions and opinion. I'd also say with your hands, how can you show appreciation? There are absolutely going to be times in your day when a face to face, perhaps. Oh, I should. I think we should add apologies to the my personal actions with my mouth. Could be apologies made to them, because
Apologize. Just straight
yeah,
up apologize.
just be aware that I'm not the I Ching of all things
Yeah.
education. They could well have something. Um, so I'm gonna document their suggestion. Sorry, for my hands. Perhaps there's been a situation in which it would be difficult to go, and I'm not talking in the long term, but like in the next few moments, to go back and be face to face with them. That would lead to an emotional response from one of you. Maybe with my hands, I need to type something to them, and I'm in the mind set of apologies right now, which maybe that's not what it should be, but something written to them, either as a thank you note
Mhm.
in general. Again, going back to the saying thank you, a very specific general, very specific general, a very specific thank you note coming from my hands, written out, or that email coming from me purposefully, not just with the general, you buy it off of Amazon, tchotchke that has the attached general note, but one that is specific. Hey, and by the way, this takes time.
Mhm.
If you're not spending a lot of time on this, then you're probably not. It's probably won't have the impact that you want it to have. Um, I wonder what that relationship would be. What is the relationship between time spent, time?
Time
What is
spent on
what? Yeah, what is the relationship between time spent on task of the appreciation and the actual appreciation? I bet that's pretty. I
yeah.
bet they're correlated pretty high. I bet the more time I would spend in the Thanksgiving creation, the more it would be appreciated. Maybe, maybe not. I guess at some point that breaks out. But if
Yeah.
it's yeah, okay,
Sometimes it's the small things that come across more. But
okay. What else? What else with hands, Matt? You're doing a good job with your hands right now. I hope you feel appreciated.
the thing that's interesting is I'm trying to think through the difference between hands and feet. I'm trying to divide there, and I guess when I think of hands, I think of doing. When I think of feet, I think of going. Does that make sense? So if I think of hands, I'm thinking of doing. What is something else I can do to demonstrate appreciation? Um, and I, again, I want to avoid the obvious, but maybe we should just again bring out the
Mm-hmm.
obvious, and that's give them the gifts. Give the gifts, give the sweeties, give the, you know, it's just so funny to me. We put in our communication center just bags of chips, bags of or little like breakfast bars and little drinks, and it is like best thing in the world. So don't overlook. Maybe it would be like, oh, I'm buying your favor, but look for ways to give. So
Mm-hmm.
give the gifts is what I'm
Well,
thinking.
when we were starting this, we talked about the hands being the thank you note written, and yes, at some point that needs to be delivered. So yes, use your feet too. I get that, but what we were definitely were talking about, what can I with my hands create, go and retrieve and bring to them. So yeah, the giving of gifts, making it available. You have to go pick up the beef jerky, put it in the basket for them to
Yeah,
come and get later on. Which,
yeah,
by the
yeah.
way, peanut M&Ms in that basket are always my favorite.
I
Just
see
so
how this.
you and she knows, that's where those go in my pocket. But their hands, and then carefully that the times when they need the hug, the times when they need that
Pat on the back.
pat on the back, yeah, those things should be quick from us, appropriately given. Those should be absolutely quick from us, and we should be relational enough with them to know when such is appropriate, which ones appreciate the same, which ones are driven by. We'll
Yeah,
have you will have all kinds. I think of the okay PE teacher. If we're, again stereotyping our faculty members, the PE teacher is gonna be the one who actually wants to like engage with that hug, handshake, high five. You got your own personal handshake you do when they walk in the building, not like with the kids or like we do the teachers and the kids have theirs. Like we have one with the faculty members, but the maybe there is value to that, and there are some who would want or who need that appropriately, and we should know who, and that goes back to appreciating them by knowing them, knowing that that's what they need.
yeah. And then I think one other one, and I'm going to generalize it, but I'm going to say assist on tasks. Um, like when a teacher comes out and says, "Oh no, I need to get this test copied and there's things running and I don't have time." Hey, how many you need? I'll do that for you.
Mhm,
Send. Oh, you don't have time to come down and print that off? Email it to me. I'll print it off for you. Um, you need a desk adjusted. I'll come down and I'll fix it for you. So little things like that that show you're not too busy
mhm.
to to be there for them. Um, and again, kind of see a little bit of crossover between hands and feet. But I think primarily when you're thinking of doing, you have a task to do, they have tasks to do. Helping them is definitely going to show how much you appreciate them.
Well, that's a good bridge, though.
Yeah.
Feet need to be we should be quick to be in their space
Yep.
appropriately. Again, not all the time, but we should be quick to take ourselves to them,
Yep.
less so that they have to come to us. So maybe this is a general, we need to go to them.
Yep.
We should be in their space, offering them that appreciation where in their atmosphere. Not
Yep.
always just in the office or where you gather as teachers or whatnot, but with them.
I think that's huge. Just go to them, and you're going to be purposing in these other things that we've already mentioned with mouth, hands, and ears. Um, but you've got to be visible. You've got to be present in order for them, in order to do these things, and for them to know that. But I think that's going to set us up for moving into this second category, because otherwise we're not going to have anything else to say. So so when thinking through, here's just little things I purposely can do personally to show appreciation, but then there are things that I, as the administrator, as the principal, I control that will then affect appreciation to the teachers. So what are we talking about, Mark?
So when we constructed these 3 items, ways in which principals show faculty their appreciation, one of the very first ones we said was with the budget. So we're talking about these job level, or job description level controls that we have,
Yeah.
or controls that we are the most responsible party for. We might not be the last one that checks off on them, but we're the most responsible for them. So when we say budget, we mean we show appreciation for them through their remuneration,
Yeah.
through what they're getting paid. So are we doing our best to offer appreciation to them by what we're paying them?
Ooh.
But in their pay package would also be their benefits. Have we worked to go and to find unique benefits for them? Have we worked to go find benefits that our school could afford, or that our unique situation, or some by virtue of the fact of who is a part of our school and what we have access to through that person, can we develop a very unique benefit package for our teachers that other teachers wouldn't necessarily have? Here's what I mean by something like that. Let's say you have a car detailer, a parent or alumni who's a car detailer, and they love your school. Could you throw that car detailer 250 bucks a couple times a year and say, "Hey, we got a parking lot full of cars here. If I gave you 250 right now and your love of the school, would you go around and spend 10 minutes on each one of these vehicles? I'm going to tell the teachers at the start of the day, hey, leave your doors open. I got Sean coming in. Sean's going to spend 10 minutes on each one of your vehicles. If you don't want him in your vehicle, leave your door locked. But otherwise, just know this is one of those. This was part of your package. Remember that."
Yeah.
Do you have someone like that? Do you have a restaurant owner amongst your population that you could go and to have a conversation with and say, "Hey, I'd like to offer these teachers a benefit." I w there are ways of being creative with those packages. Another thing, Matt, that you brought up was flexibility. You wanna go
Yeah.
into flexibility on scheduling?
Yeah.
Scheduling, but
So,
also saying yes and no on different things they would ask us?
yeah. Um, I there's two things here that come to my mind. You've got the schedule, and then you've also got, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna put it as time off.
Sure.
Um, when it comes to the schedule, we're gonna definitely show our teachers how much we appreciate them by building into their schedule flexibility, as you're saying. When it this is kind of one of those two-edged swords where a teacher that you value, you tend to overuse, right? You're going to fill up their schedule because they are an awesome teacher. But at the same time, you're going to do I dare use the B word?
Oh, no.
You're going to stress them. You're going to tire them out to where they're not maybe feeling that appreciation, like they're just being used like a workhorse.
Mhm.
So when it comes to scheduling, when you're creating a teacher schedule, I think a big way to show that they're appreciated is involve them in the schedule building. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Hear from them. What is it that you need? Do you need that period to just breathe? Do you need 15 minutes? What is it that you need for scheduling? Do you want this class ahead of that class? I know one of these things. I had a um, elementary teacher that came up and taught secondary Spanish, and it was always a kind of a battle to get the Spanish class in like the perfect spot in her elementary schedule. And it wasn't something that I ignored. It was something that was a big priority for me. It was just making it work for her.
Mhm.
But doing that, taking that time, like I hear you. I know that this is where it would work best in your schedule. So I'm going to do everything I can to make that work. Obviously, understanding there's a lot of pieces in play, but involve them in the creation of the schedule.
Now you're talking about, like, the day-by-day schedule, and, I mean,
Yeah.
the class schedule as well, but they better be involved with the year-long schedule too. In fact, I saw that the public schools around us have pushed out their different options for their schedules to parents to comment on. And one of my first thought was, I hope the faculty and staff have had their opportunity to comment on those ABC schedules, and I hope there's more weight involving with what they said than the parents, to be honest. So have they been involved with your calendar creation at all? Do they have a is there a lead at least is there a representative who's involved in that conversation with the whole year calendar, where they have a lead teacher that's able to say things? And again, things you control, maybe that's something else you do control. Do you have time in your schedule week by week where you are meeting with a lead teacher and you are saying, "Hey, what are the people saying?" Not that you're not also going and finding out, but do you have mechanisms in your control? Do you have mechanisms in place that provide for teachers to feel heard, that
Yeah.
provide for teachers to have who would want to remain anonymous otherwise, who would be able to speak to that lead teacher? So have you developed that control, or have you used the control you have to develop those uh, ways for the teachers to speak to you? Do those paths for communication exist? You also control, by the way you react. We had that hear and listen. You control the way you react to teachers too, and the way that
Mhm.
you react and respond to their questions. So if they when if you do a good job of the personal action and you say, "What would you do to make us stronger?" And they say, "Well, I would turn the degree I would have HVAC come in here and actually redo the ductwork so we can get it over 70 degrees." And you hear that, and then, your choice on listening and doing something about that, that's completely under your control. You can then take that information and go to your facilities head, or you can just let that roll out the other side of your head once it makes it through the ear canal. But
Yeah.
under things you control, that listening and acting on those questions is a big deal. Now, Matt, you wanna go to time off here? Go for it.
Yeah. So I feel like this is another one that this is kind of included with maybe your benefits package a little bit, in that you have in your contract a time that teachers have for personal days, for sick days. Um, but one of the things that I probably tout the most when it comes to how much I appreciate what our faculty do, and maybe because I know they're not being paid what they're worth, um, one of the things I definitely can control is when a family emergency comes up, and I don't even want to necessarily say it's like a drastic thing that your contract probably covers. Just something like, I've been trying to schedule my kid's dentist appointment, and something just suddenly opened up today. Rather than accounting that against them on their personal days, I say, "Hey, I got you. Go." We know what you are doing to get here, and so I'm gonna give that flexibility on time off, because it's something that we can do. Now, obviously, we have to be mindful of budgetary items and things like that, but when it comes to, as long as my teachers are not just, what, I think I think I just need a day. I need a day. Well, you have personal days built in for that, so great, use that. But when it comes to a thing like not been feeling well, and this appointment only showed up at this time, and hey, go do it. And we're not going to count that against you because we're a family. So just that's where I definitely we use the word flexibility, and that's where for me personally, I see probably the most flexibility when it comes to giving time for those um I'll not necessarily emergencies. I'll just say necessary.
Hmm, okay. And yeah, like you said, that's one way of seeing that flexibility. We also see that flexibility on a number of other areas. Are you able to come away from what you have to what you believe has to be done the way you believe it has to be done? And that's something you control as well. You control your attitude when you're around them. Even if
Yeah,
you're having a cruddy morning, are you going to smile when you walk past them? You control that. You control the other parts of the job description besides just the budget and the scheduling and their contract. You do hold sway over things like the visitor policy, over things like
yeah,
the dress code, over lots of things like that. And I think there's never going to be a time when the school has arrived and is now perfect, and you'll never again touch the handbook. It will always need revision. It will always need looking at. So, have you taken the time to include in those reviews and in your own mindset thoughts about your faculty?
yeah,
And specifically, and then some of this does take some slight political maneuvering where you then evidence to them, "Hey, I'm showing you right now." So you start out, you have your devotions in the morning and you say, "Hey, big reminder, you guys asked for a faculty casual day that was different than the student casual day. I heard you. That's in the policy for next year."
yeah,
And you actually
yep,
you make a note of that. And are we trying to toot our own horn? Are we trying to evidence appreciation? Have your heart in the right place and then make the announcement and let it be what it is. But let them know.
yeah,
But there are things that we don't control, but that we do have an impact on. And when we first started talking about this, we one of the ways we know our teachers would be most affected in a show of appreciation would actually not come from us.
yeah.
It would come from the parents. So Matt, what would you want to say here about ways that a principal can show faculty they're appreciated, but via the parents?
Yeah. So the easy one that I was thinking of is we can create opportunities for parents to show their appreciation.
Mhm.
Um, I'm just going to put create opportunity here. Um, in the sense that I know one of the things that our school started doing, and this could be if you have a PTA, and this is the easiest thing for a PTA to do would be just a teacher appreciation lunch once a month or once a quarter or something to that effect. And then parents can sign up for contributing items for that meal or contributing funds or whatever else, or coming in and assisting in watching the classroom while the teachers are eating. But you as an administrator, whether your PTA comes up with this or you come up with it, you have to say, I want the parents to have these opportunities where they're coming in and they're showing the teachers how much they are appreciated. So generally speaking, create the opportunity. But then I'd go further and say that we have to also generate a an attitude of appreciation within the
Mm.
well,
Mhm.
that we are communicating with them, "Hey, look at what your teachers are doing, and when was the last time you said thank you?" Maybe being that bold with it, but creating enough momentum for the parents to then piggyback off of that and say, "Hey, I need to get over there and show that teacher that we really appreciate them."
We could just keep going down the line here with different people that we do not control, but that we would influence or have an impact on. You said parents. We could put down students. We could
Yes.
put down the board. We could make sure that the board is having a time in which they're giving, they are responsible for 5 faculty lunches
Yep.
throughout the year as part of their as part of just being on the board. You know what's gonna happen, you're gonna sign up to be on the board, or you're gonna volunteer to be on the board, great. You're gonna not only fund outside the budget, but you're also going to prepare and serve lunches for our teachers 5 times of
Yep.
the year, or something like that, whatever it happened to be, but you can't create that of them, you can't necessarily control that, you can absolutely influence it. You can absolutely evidence to them that this is something they should be doing. But it goes past just the people that we have impact on. There are probably overall policies, and perhaps for you the budget isn't completely yours. And very few of our schools should the budget ever be completely one person's. And so even things that control budget preparation, and presentation comes from the administrator. Ultimately it's accepted by the board. I get that. So, but there's still a lot of hands-on by the principal, by the head of the school there. So maybe in this way, it is things which the board creates itself or speaks on far more than you would the budget, um, which are limited, but they do exist. All right, Matt. We went to record our second partnership, and you stopped me, and you're like, "Wait a second, why are we recording that now? Let's record that. Let's insert that partnership shout out specifically with the Herzog Foundation later on." So let me do that now, right? The Herzog Foundation presents the Excellence in Christian Education Awards, and they have the Herzog Foundation Teacher of the Year, as well as Excellence in Christian Education Awards, which those go out in a number of different categories. We are past the 2026 version of those nominations, but if you didn't know it, go find out from the Herzog Foundation what those nomination criteria are, and then write up the amazing portfolio between now and next year's February 6th or whatever the cutoff date will be in 2027, and have it ready to go so
Yeah.
that you can go onto the herzogfoundation.com/awards and see the YouTube videos about those presentations made at the Museum of the Bible in Washington D.C. and the gala space they have at the top floor, fifth floor, or whatever it is there at the Museum of the Bible. What a wonderful spot! Make sure that you have nominated a teacher and even shown those teachers your nomination. People do that all the time. They celebrate nominations,
Yeah.
not just the award. Celebrate the fact that they were even nominated. And that's and so do this with the Herzog Foundation, but don't think they're the only ones that provide Christian education awards or just education awards in general. Go find your local one and
Yeah.
perhaps actually present a couple of your teachers for a local one as well.
Yeah. So that's going to be our top three, more than three, but three
Yeah, way more than
ways
three.
that you can show your faculty are appreciated. We put this on a list for you. Take a screenshot, maybe post it up next to your desk and say, have I done these things? Have I affected these things? Because we want to know, we want our faculty to know that we love them and we appreciate them. You know who else we want to show that we appreciate? Our administrator spotlight. So who we got today, Mark?
The Christian administrator we're spotlighting today is Wayne Cunningham of Cypress Grove Academy down in Mobile, Alabama. And Cypress Grove Academy's mission, which we caught our attention when we read through it earlier, includes the word joy. I want to read that to you right now. It says the mission of Cypress Grove Academy is to provide students with the joy of a Christ-centered classical education that nurtures the heart and challenges the mind. So today, Wayne, Matt's going to pray for you down there in Alabama. Hopefully you do not have anywhere near the winter weather that we are experiencing right now. But Matt, go for
All
it.
right. Let's pray. Father, thank you for Wayne. Thank you for the work that he's doing. Um, and I know that he has a lot of responsibilities. He has a lot of things on his plate. I pray that he would be encouraged, he would be supported, that we would allow his community to show how much they appreciate him and his work, but they'd also find ways to show his faculty and his staff how much they are appreciated as well. And I pray that you would just, with the remainder of the year that is left, allow just wonderful things to happen that would set them up for success in future years. Pray, Lord, that you would just encourage him in his walk with you and that all would be done to your honor and glory. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, folks. Thanks for growing with us today.
We want to thank you for listening.
We're honored that you spend this time with us each week. Our heart is to bring you practical conversations and resources that really serve you as a Christian school leader. One of the best ways you can help us spread the word is by leaving us a review and sharing the podcast with other Christian school principals you're connected with. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Join the conversation and share any posts that resonate with you. Every share makes a difference in helping more leaders find encouragement and practical tools. And remember, the podcast is just one way we help. We also love serving schools through speaking and workshops. Our keynotes and sessions are designed to give you actionable strategies you can take back to your team and implement right away. If you'd like more details, just send us an email at info@christianprinciplespodcast.com. We'd love to connect. Until next time, thanks for joining us on the Christian Principles Podcast.